Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to another great episode of Jacob Walks Over a Bridge. I'm Jacob. I'm currently walking over a bridge, and this is a bit of a throwback. A Jacob Walks Over a Bridge classic, if you will. Today I'm coming to you live from the Queensboro Bridge in all of its morning glory. It's been a long time since I've done this walk. I'm walking from Manhattan to Queens. Man, I'm trying to think. It must be at least a year since I've done this walk. Things haven't changed much. The walkway / bike lane still as narrow as ever. It's hot today, but before I get any further, I would like to say that this episode is brought to you by the best softball coach an editor can ask for, Melanie Muzalas. No, I've never actually said her last name, and before she sponsored this, and I asked her what she wants me to say. I probably should have asked how she wants me to say her name or how her name is pronounced, so no, I'm sorry if I mess that up. But she'd also like me to mention that this episode is also in memory of Demetrius Muzalas, who was a valued member of her family who passed away recently at the tender age of 14. Gone too soon, as all cats are when they pass. He is gone but not forgotten. So this is a shout out to you, Demetrius, if you're listening. Hi. But yeah, it's been a while since the last time I've done this. The world is both changed dramatically or not at all, depending on who you ask or who's listening. I remember the last walk I did a 20-mile marathon through Brooklyn and Manhattan. And that was right before all the protests began in this city and around the world. If I had done the walk that I did a week later, I would have been walking through protesters, both on foot, on bikes, police cars, driving into people, all that fun stuff. So I guess you could say that happened in the nick of time. I don't know. Definitely a weird time to be a New Yorker and an American when it comes to the protest, but also just the issue at large right now, the pandemic. We're not always at our best, even at the worst times, as unfortunate as it is to say and to admit. I was thinking originally I was gonna have this episode be just an entire 20 plus minute critique of American exceptionalism. We're definitely exceptional these days when it comes to our higher numbers than everyone else by a wide margin. We're definitely leading the way there, not in the way we would have liked, of course. And it's nice. Baseball's back, almost. I'm a Mets fan, if you didn't know, and they had an exhibition game yesterday against the Yankees. Didn't go so well score-wise, but it was nice to be able to watch for a little bit the team play against a real team with real cameramen and real announcers, and just a sign that things might get better one day. course, it's a little weird with they got cardboard cutout fans and they're piping in artificial crowd noise, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But it's baseball, and it's back, kind of. It would have been back sooner if things had, well, for a lot of reasons. Who knows if even if the coronavirus had been as bad, or isn't as bad, it's still going on. With the owners and the players, with their disagreements over contracts, how that would have played out, but they're going to be playing, and I'm excited for that. Unfortunately, won't be able to go to a game this year for the first time in a while. Probably at least 5 years since I've last not been at least a Mets game. Probably the longer. I went to games in 2015. Yeah, I can't remember it's been a long time, I'll say that. Because oftentimes I would go either the Braves games. I went to a couple of those when I was in Atlanta. And especially since I moved to the city, but also when I was interning in the city, I'd sometimes sneak to a game. Even when the team wasn't good, the tickets were dirt cheap, so it didn't really matter. Just going to a game was an experience. It was something fun, something to do, cheer on the team even though they sucked. But it's almost comforting how consistent they were in that. Which is why 2015, when the Mets went to the World Series, it was both exciting and freaky. I wasn't used to success, which only made the way that they played in the World Series when they messed up every game. They were ahead in every game, and then they lost 4 out of 5 of them. But it was almost comforting in a way, knowing that the same Mets I grew to know and love, the ones who mess every play up, even they could fumble their way to the World Series. But it's going to be different this year. And it's hot out. I knew it was going to be this hot when I started walking. It's probably in the mid 80s now. Yep, the high 80s. It's 88 according to my phone. Someone was just right. See what you love about this bridge, or hate, both with the bike lane and pedestrian lane are right next to each other. There was a biker that was coming right at me for the longest time before finally swerving. I won the game of chicken, but gave her a nasty stare down. I'm gonna take a picture for the Instagram. And another picture. And finally one more, just so you can see my beautiful face. And I even took my hat off so you could see the progression of the hair. Definitely got poof going. The Juicer's back, baby. All of those pictures will be posted on my Instagram at Jacob Walks Over. Jacob Walks was taken. Jacob walks over a bridge in too long. Jacob walks over just didn't make much sense. Walking over bridges, I don't want to leave that up to interpretation. But Jacob walks over stuff. You never know what I'm going to be walking over. So at Jacob Walks Over for all the times I post every couple months. Well, now that also, one of the reasons why I hadn't been doing this walk for a while is I had what eventually was diagnosed as a hip injury. Just a hip flexor strain. The doctor told me that when I was see him after. My leg, it was my upper leg, thigh area, the front of the thigh, was hurting after I'd walk for long distances. I might have mentioned it the day that I did walk over the Williamsburg Bridge with you. No, I walked over the Manhattan Bridge and also the Williamsburg Bridge, which I teased might happen, but I was in so much pain walking over that bridge. I didn't want to have to record this and sound cheery, like my usual cheery self. It was a hip flexor strain. So I did some stretches, took some time off from doing much long distance walking. I imagine that 20-mile walk I did probably in the end was a way that it had been feeling a little bit better, and I probably just re-aggravated and made it a whole lot worse. Even I was taking ibuprofen that day and it didn't do much after a while. But now I can walk pretty long distances. I did a lot of walking yesterday, did a couple round trips. I went to Union Square and back to my apartment, the other one went to Herald Square and back to my apartment. So that was fun. I enjoyed that. Still also a very hot day to be walking, but I feel like if I'm going to be getting my endurance back, I can't let a little bit of hot weather stop me. I'll make sure to stop and drink water every once in a while. I make sure to bring my large Nalgene bottle with me. So that way I can keep hydrated. Knowing me, I'll probably dehydrate myself very quickly. I can use up a lot of. I'm like a camel in some senses. I can go a long time without drinking, but I also need to keep the hump filled, so to speak. So can't ignore the body when it comes to that. Definitely a little more construction on the bridge than I remember. Someone warned me that there was going to be a lot more porta potties. Specifically mentioned porta potties on the bridge, since it had been a long time. I was like, I don't remember all that, but now I'm walking. There are ladders everywhere, porta potties every so often, every couple, few, maybe 100 yards. I don't know. Haven't really been paying attention too much. I'm passing a purple one, purple portable potty. Porta potty, purple porta potty, with a sign that says for bridge use only, and they don't make any other distinction other than that. So maybe as a bridge walker, I have the rights to use it, since it's technically I'm going on a bridge. I imagine that's for the people who are also supposed to be using these ladders, and not for the average John like me. I can come up with potty puns for the next 15 minutes if I really wanted to fill the rest of this podcast with toilet humor. I'll stop. I can't myself. Well, it has been a while since I've been to Queens. Definitely not since the coronavirus happened. I probably last went maybe February or so. Definitely when it was that cold out, I was taking the subway there. No, it was probably January. That's when I had not the best day. That was as a part of a sequence of some weird dating stuff. Where it eventually ended in disappointment. But I mean, it was an interesting story to say the least, and it stuck then. I was very disappointed. I was not happy back in January or so when unfortunate circumstances happened. But now with about 6-7 months of distance between then, it's you see the lighter side of it and the humor and all. I'm very quick to laugh at myself, if not in the moment, then very shortly after. I'm not necessarily the clumsiest person, but I make mistakes. Things happen. If I stub my toe, I never really curse, but I'll laugh. I'll stub my toe, ow, and then just laugh. So I'm very quick to laugh at myself, laughing the tears away. But I like finding the humor in things, and maybe it's I find myself living my own Three Stooges life movie. I am a stooge. But yeah, that was probably mid-late January was the last time I set foot in the borough. when I went there, I made sure to do the usual shopping, and I'll probably do some of that too now, where I'll go to Toast and Roast, my preferred bagel spot. I'll probably get half a dozen just to stick in the freezer for the days to come. I'm gonna probably stop at the Greek food truck I like going to. I forget now I think it's like the King of Greek Food or something like that. Don't remember exactly what the name is, but they have this really good hero sandwich that I like getting, where you can get I guess it's souvlaki. It's a chicken grilled on sticks. I don't think they necessarily call it souvlaki, but they probably do, now that I think about it. I'll have to make a note when I see it again, but I'm going to go to they put that chicken on there, put tomatoes, they put their homemade french fries on there, some tzatziki sauce, or some sort of yogurt sauce. They offer to put onions on, I decline every time. Salt, pepper, some lemon juice even. It ends up being a very messy but very good sandwich. I look forward to having that. I was going to think about getting bubble tea. There's a really, really good bubble tea place there, but I forgot the loyalty card. It's just a bad reason not to go, but I also had bubble tea yesterday and the day before that. And I'm planning on having it tomorrow, because the reason I had it on Friday was because there was going to be a happy hour that I was going to go to. And since I don't really drink that much, I'm more of a social drinker, if that. But there's going to be a happy hour, and I left to go get bubble tea for that. And by the time I got back, the happy hour had been moved to Monday. So I, of course, did not let the bubble tea go to waste. It's usually not very good after sitting for a while. So I had the bubble tea on Friday. I plan on also getting bubble tea on Monday. Oh no, more bubble tea. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to drink more bubble tea. I'm not mad about that. But that place is called the Teepsy. Again, not sure. Pronunciation was never my forte. And I don't know if they call it the Teepsy or the Teepsy. I don't know. I guess the Teepsy is really probably the only way to say it. But it's high quality stuff. I like that in their fruit teas, like grapefruit and peach, they often have little pieces of the fruit in the tea. It's a nice touch. It's not like the other chain bubble tea places. I like it. I've never done it, but they offer to put bubble tea in a light bulb, which is cool. Big, really big bulb. It's a cool thing. I'm sure they make these light bulbs now just for that, just for the effect. I've never felt the need to get that, but don't need that. I have my water. If I really need another drink, I'll see what I'll get something else. Don't go over there. I might see if the Modell's is still open over there. They're going out of business now, which is sad, because I grew up going to Modell's. That's where I used to always go to get either sports equipment, or if I ever got shoes. I hated shoe shopping, but we always went to Modell's. First pair that fit me just okay, I was like, okay, this is it, I'm done. Not a big fan of shoe shopping. But sad to see Modell's go. I'm looking for socks, maybe a new sweatband I like wearing, or headband for sweat headband. I like wearing those when I run and play racquetball. So maybe they're still open, and maybe they still have those things. The one in Manhattan that's still open that I've passed has not had those items, so maybe the purchasing characteristics of Queensites are different than Manhattanites. I don't know. That's why I'm walking. I'm looking forward to being surprised. I'm going to skip the empanada place. If I'm going to be eating that big sandwich, I'm not going to be probably hungry or need to eat. And even though they're kind of small and they're cheap, I don't think it's something I need. I'm trying to cut back on things I don't need these days. Definitely cut a lot of sugar out of my diet, which has been good for my health, I think. I've since the coronavirus has started, I've definitely lost a bit of weight, which has been nice. I haven't been eating all the junk food in the office or ordering out as much. So I know this is a treat on the weekend, walking to Old Borough, reminisce, walk past all the old sites, but I'll save that for another time to be enjoyed at a later date. Oh, I'm definitely going to stop at the Greek supermarket. Don't really know what I need there, but I could always pick up a thing of pita, maybe a can of chickpeas. It's always nice to go back there. It's a really authentic, straight from Greece, Greek stuff. Definitely won't be getting any feta cheese today. That won't last in my bag for more than a few minutes. And I'm thinking if I'm up to it, I might, after I'm done with Astoria, take a little walk down to Sunnyside, the old stomping grounds, to check out what's new and different there. Definitely, every time I visited over the last couple of years, it seems just a little more gentrified each time, you know? Like on the old block I used to live on, there was right on the end of the block there used to be an upholstery place where I'd walk past and often see people, you know, ripping at couches and chairs and putting them back together. But now I go back there and that was turned into a juice shop. Everyone, I guess millennial gentrifiers just love their juice. Can't have enough juice. Can't say I've ever, in recent memory anyway, gone to a juice store for juice. No, that's a lie. I did last year after a run with my sister. But aside from that, one time with my sister, who was the one who suggested going, I've never, under my own volition, or I guess maybe that's not the right word, I independently have never, with purpose, gone to a juice shop for my own enjoyment of juice. Yes, that's how I'm going to say that. So, one of the people that I follow on Twitter. I don't follow too many people, even though it's one of my favorite social media platforms. I still don't have one for the account for the podcast yet, which I know is surprising. But one of the few people I follow, maybe 200 or so people that I follow, is a congressman from Queens who represents Sunnyside. His name is Jimmy Van Bremer. Again, I might be butchering his name. I haven't heard it spoken aloud since Christmas time of 2016, when I saw him light a Christmas tree near my apartment. So again, sorry, Congressman, if I've messed up your name, or Councilman, I don't know, I forget. I'm bad with names and titles and everything else. I remember faces pretty well, but names go in one ear and out the other. But I like him. He's very vocal, especially about the Queensboro Bridge and how we should be better about adding bike lane, like an individual bike lane, an individual pedestrian lane. Because there is, the other side of the bridge, there is I believe it's for emergency use, I'm not sure, but there's a side of the bridge that's rarely, if ever, used, which would be great to be turned into either a bike or a pedestrian lane. So that way I'm not avoiding people on bikes. So that would be nice. But he's a very vocal proponent of that, which I like. He's a very vocal proponent of fewer cars in the city in general. Turning, nowadays when you get all the parking spaces are turned into restaurant space, he's been very, very supportive of that, and I am too. These days I'm not the biggest fan of having to walk around diners as they're eating, because I feel like that could be a risk potentially for me as I'm walking, but I guess outside, everything's still unclear about what's safe and what's not. Oh, and it wouldn't be a bridge walk without a train walking going by. That's the end. Haven't been on the subway in months. I'm probably going to end up going sometime before a month or summer is done. I'll probably end up going on a train, but haven't been on one since at least mid-March, early mid-March. But yeah, I like that congressman, councilman, politician. He and his husband are really cute when they post pictures, and when they're doing stuff around the neighborhood. So definitely a big fan of his. I would vote for him if I could, or whatever. I don't live in Queens anymore, so can't. But definitely a big fan of his and his policy positions and what he stands for. So if you're listening, Jimmy, hi. But we'll be going to Sunnyside, his jurisdiction. If I'm up to it, of course. We'll see how I feel after this long walk. Maybe do a big loop in Queens. If I'm there, I'll probably be hungry by then. I'll stop by one of my favorite dumpling places. It's called Dumplings and Things. They have dumplings and things. Mostly the things are ramen, baos. So maybe I'll get an order of dumplings just for old time's sake. It's definitely one of my favorite places to eat in Sunnyside. There were a few places I tried around, a bunch of Thai places, some Hispanic places. King of Tacos was a good one. Pretty sure. I'm just speculating that all these places are still there. It's been a while, but they were good. I liked their tacos. I don't really order tacos. I feel like they're not very filling and cost too much for what they are. But that's honestly, usually I'll get an enchilada or a burrito, or those are usually two things I'll order from Mexican places. Oh, excuse me, I burped. But they were good. They didn't hold back on the spice. Yeah, I forgot how dangerous this bridge was, dancing around, people walking in the other direction, the bikes coming and going. How did I walk over this every day? Well, I guess you just get used to it after a while. But speaking of this podcast being over, I am nearing the end of the bridge, so it's about high time that I signed off. It was great talking to you again, especially from the OG bridge. Will America survive before my next installment of this podcast? I guess you'll have to let me know. So for now, that's it for Jacob Walks Over a Bridge. Good day and good night.